Stigmatization of women over childbearing issues is one of the major challenges that women face, especially in Africa. In Nigeria, 10 to 30% of couples are affected by infertility, but that's according to statistics given by Fertility Research and Practice. To cross the hurdle, one of the options many of such women try to deploy is in vitro fertilization, that is IVF. Our senior correspondent Jacqueline Ogo has more.
In a country like Nigeria, where the blame of infertility comes heavily upon women, the pressure creates a very high need for alternative childbearing interventions like in vitro fertilization, commonly referred to as IVF, which does not come cheap. Some Nigerians are desperate to know how IVF works, and to keep up with my journalistic obligation, I headed to the hospital, where the chief medical director, a fertility expert, had a barrage of questions to face from me. So, can you explain to our viewers what IVF is?
IVF in short means in vitro fertilization, and that means fertilization that did not take place inside the body. The sperm and the eggs are collected and they are brought together outside the human body, and then later when there is maturity, after a few days, taken back into the human body for growth.
But there are failures, and people are concerned about the failures. Why the failures?
Why it fails, we can divide that to several categories. The first one will be the individuals involved. What is their current or even past reproductive system status? In other words, the sperm must be good, must move, the quality must be good, the number must be good. Now, coming to the women, the egg too must be good. The woman who is carrying the embryo, is it behaving in a manner that is expected? Is she anxious? If she's anxious, the body will not sustain that. If she smokes, takes alcohol, it will be toxic. You will kill off the embryo.
Why is IVF so expensive? Can we talk about cost now?
In US, the cost of a typical IVF, you will be setting up between $20,000 and $30,000. In UK, between 8, depending on the circumstance, on maybe say $20,000. I've had patients who say they are going to be charged £20,000, which I think is pretty high. In our practice here, $4,000 equivalent will still do a typical IVF.
The length of the IVF process depends on the number of tests necessary. They include a treatment plan, which involves the strict use of prescribed medications. One cycle of the IVF process can take about 3 to 4 weeks on the average. That's counting from the initial consultation to embryo transfer. Children bring a lot of joy to a home. In marriages where they are absent, there's a lot of tension, and some go as far as collapsing. IVF is a medical intervention many Nigerians hope the government will subsidize to assist couples who cannot have their own children. Jacqueline Ogo, TVC News, Lagos.
Now, talking